box. And to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi's warm embrace. Wow, I went inside your back for a second there. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have gone inside your back. We are attempting to clean up loose ends around and about, primarily skill checks. Let's do our classic weekly reminder of just what in the we have. If memory serves, the, dance inside the church, very important to me. Incredibly low percentages. Much like everything else. You can see, at a glance, the thing I'm worst at in the entire game. Physical instrument checks. I am, noodly little string bean. That, of course, the suggestion to Lillian, not something we're doing. Oh, hi. Single mom, I'm an alcoholic train wreck of a middle-aged man, and I'm here to help. So, we got a lot of stuff that we're not necessarily going to pursue, but definitely the dancing inside the church. And I still think I'm blocked on that. I feel like I have to talk to Ruby before I can get to the island. But I don't know if that's true. Like, maybe there's some way to convince dear Joyce Messier to let me use her yacht for a quick island voyage. I'm not entirely sure. We seem to have exhausted her skill tree in the attempt. I think there's a check in the church for this as well, to make Van Eyck's jam even harder core using the rumblings of the pail, which I would very much like to do. And we already decided that our gun is lost. It's lost to time. Assuming we'll stumble upon the murder weapon eventually, that is my hope. I don't really want the booze, and I don't really want Kuno's pants, if I'm being honest with you. So, we're pretty low on necessary skill checks. Let's see if we can get back to a fast travelable area. I believe the closest is back in front of the whirling. But maybe I just haven't stumbled on one in the Union Yard yet. Hello, good afternoon, and morning, and various time of day. It is so nice to see you guys there. It's always nice to have more pants options. I mean, it's true. I would like to have more pants options. We noticed last session this box back here behind Deer? Deer Measurehead? Is that what we're calling him? Behind Racist Measurehead, I guess is what I'd prefer. Here's my classic stairs. Get ready for disappointment. Yep, there it is. There's something about that corner that does not react well to the Xbox control scheme, it seems. I haven't spoken to this gentleman in a while. Let me just make sure there's nothing new.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you!
Are you a mercenary hired by Wild Pines? That's a bold question. I don't think he has, as I don't hear the gentle tinkling of ceramic thighs upon ceramic thighs. And again, sometimes it's hard to hear when you tinkle on your thighs. Sure. Are you a mercenary?
Hell no. I'm just an honest scab. I won't have talk like that around here. You understand?
You know, I kind of believe you, but that is exactly what a mercenary hired by Wild Pines would say, so...
It just has to be said. That was not a convincing line.
Yeah, thank you, drama. Hell no, I'm just an honest scab. That didn't sound convincing. Say very quietly, is there a tribunal being convened by any chance? I don't recall having heard that before. Is that a secret passphrase? To ingratiate myself to the Wild Pines crew? I'm curious. Let's try it.
Fucking bug.
He breathes out slowly, his giant chest deflating and his mouth slightly open. You long to gently graze your pinky finger across his lips in a seductive manner, but you do not.
You hear a tiny rattle, a small radio, cracking somewhere. An earpiece.
Fascinating.
I'm going to interpret that as a yes. There's a tribunal, and it won't be long until it's ready.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
I mean, that's fair. It's not the first time I've heard that request.
Okay, of course.
The lieutenant says, his voice a soothing calm. He looks at you, his eyes filled with hope. You suddenly see yourselves on a porch swing, graying, your knees no longer what they once were, even compared to today. But still, that loving look in Kim's eyes as you sip tea before the most gorgeous sunset. I think I saw that somewhere in the text. Sorry.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now. Somewhere above, in the buildings. The other merc. Don't push this, he's thinking. This is not the time.
Bloodshed in the streets. It's never been closer at hand, and I want to touch it like the hottest of stoves. But okay. Okay, my
The
friend.
man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly, he's trying to get his right-to-work dance back on.
Interrupted his flow. I think you may be able to help me decipher some tattoos, Whip it out. Whip it out in front of him.
Don't think so.
The picture of the tattoos, I mean, just to be clear. He grunts, barely glancing at it.
Suddenly, this feels like a really, really bad idea.
If he is a mercenary, if he is the other mercenary out of the three, and I show him a picture of his dead comrade and just wave it around in front of his face, yeah, I could see how that could maybe accelerate us towards a violent confrontation. And I don't really need to know, like, we learned a lot about the tattoos already from other folks. So sure, forget about it. But thank you.
Actually, I think we should maybe even get going now.
Oh, good idea,
He
Kim.
clearly does not think poking the hornet's nest is a wise plan anymore.
I'm just gonna leave now. Probably best we not open fire in this particular crowd. Especially since I am desperately unarmed. And in terms of physical instrument skills for hand-to-hand combat, quite poor. Quite poorly equipped. I probably don't need a flashlight. It is the middle of the day. But here we are. Alright, we're in front of the whirling. From here, we can fast travel to any old location. I think the whole Everard thing, finding my gun, was the last, warning it gave me in front of the Fallen. Or, no, Feld. Feld Electrical. I was thinking of Kuno's pants for a second there. The Feld Electrical building, which is our primary objective. So we could head back there. However, we should probably go to the church first and try a little sneaky cheese on the dance floor, if you know what I'm saying. I'm going to quick save it here, even though that's largely pointless. We're going to have to quick save it again when we arrive. And off we go! To the church. I am so glad to be back with you guys. It got quite snowy here. Rather desperately snowy. First, it enshrouded the entire area in fog, and then the fog turned to ice before my very eyes, and it hurt my corneas quite badly. And then it got real snowy, and now it's practically gone. Thanks, Colorado. Into the church. I don't know why I'm having story time out here. Just thought I'd include you in my weather woes. My wothers. Wait. That's not it.
Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you.
Can you? I'm seeing in the chat. Just post the letter without getting any signatures on it, and just tell Everard that you did. What a bold suggestion. The post box was right there in front of the whirling. I should have tried that. Because I will happily... what's the word? What is the word? Screw Everard over, I believe is the word. in defense of the fishing village. I will happily do that. So it's a 17% chance. That feels better. That feels better than perhaps it once was. In my mind, I'm thinking 8, but that could have been anything.
Goodbye, officer.
For the dance, which we have to see fail anyway, so hooray. And then what was the other one?
Good morning! Yeah!
Godly interfaces. So that's the 8. There it is. So that is even worse. I skimmed over that with my eyes and thought it said +1 for Andre's compression pants, and that's not what it says. Just have pants on the brain. Never been quite sure how to get dressed. Alright, goodbye again. So, let's see ourselves fail at dance. I'm incredibly excited for this.
Oh, hey, man.
Flashlight
It's
in
good to see you.
hand, just to add to the strobing effect.
You close your eyes and dream of the shapes your body should form to bring this strange music into life. For now, such ferocity of motion is beyond you.
But just imagine the moves you could pull to this futuristic beat.
Limbic system, you minx, trying to convince me to do it anyway, even though I'm unprepared.
Puts a grin on your face just to think about it. Even a failed attempt gets the juices flowing and repairs some of the damage done by battles lost. If you up the dose and truly dance, who knows what will happen?
Let it fly, Dubois.
Salvation.
Aw, it did not work. But at least my juices are flowing now. Is that how you say it? I'm pretty sure. I was hoping there would be a fantastic failure sequence where I just split my pants and sprain my groin, perhaps in one smooth motion, a sort of two birds situation.
Goodbye, officer.
I guess that's it for now, but even quicker, we could load the quick save. Alright, so we have to pass it. There's no soulful karaoke performance locked away here. And that's fine and fair. I forget if we're already wearing savoir-faire-based gear, if any such thing exists. It's like the 18th, 19th time I've made you watch me check for savoir-faire clothing, but... +1 with these oversized superstar glasses. That could help. In fact, let's just... Gorgeous. Channeling those Cruella de Vil vibes. I like it. Call me, Glenn Close. I've got some ideas. For being your, live-in houseboy. Call me. Anything limiting me from being Glenn Close's live-in houseboy? Nope. There are no obstacles, Miss Close. I'm ready for you. Let's check. Does this increase it at all?
Oh, hey, man. It's good to see you.
28. Hot damn. Hot damn, Miss Close.
Goodbye.
I'm ready for you. I'm so ready for you. Alright, let's quick save it again. Try it, let's say 3
Oh,
times.
hey, man. It's good to see you.
You close your eyes and vacate your skull, leaving your brain to wonder, where did that little fluttering light go?
Where did it go? Check your pockets.
Total darkness. You sink down the darkest fathoms of your own personal deep, vertebrate by vertebrate, through the unformed skulls of your mind.
My mind? I'm confused. It's fine, though. I accept it.
Here it will begin.
Where did the church go? Where did the music go? What was that about unformed skulls? I think that's probably my most pressing question.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Every
Oh, hey,
vertebrae
spinal
in your
cord.
spine is an unformed skull ready to pop up and replace the old one. Like shark teeth. The one you're currently in has a little brain forming in it, waiting for its turn.
I believe this is anatomically correct. Yes, I trust it.
To rule the world.
Oh my god, is that true? As it ought to be. Now where is it? Who the f are you? How about oh my god, is that true?
Yes, it's all true. In the spinal cord.
Everything's true in the spinal cord. What is happening? Or just accept it. I am ready. My body is ready. Yeah, I'm fully committed.
Good. Because from what I can see, it's about to bust a move.
Don't bust a move. No, do bust a move. It's pants splitting time. Strap in.
Foolhardy, do you even know what's happening on the surface? Maybe 1,000 years have passed. Or maybe you started spazzing out like 2 seconds ago.
Considering I assume the brain I was using 2 seconds ago has completely shut off, and I'm now living from inside my unformed skull and my spinal cord, yeah, my body is probably going through some things.
With your eyes still closed, the first thing you feel, all the way back in the pivoting darkness of your own torso, is warmth. You have become a triumph of rhythmoplastics, somewhere in a smelly wooden church on the coast of Revachol. The wounds from the war you waged on your body are healing, twist by twist, turn by turn.
Oh, hell yeah.
As you open your eyes, you should scream, hyper, hyper. It seems appropriate.
I trust you. I trust you, conceptualization. Hyper, hyper!
You have become a flawless interlocking mechanism.
Oh,
A
hell
flesh and
yeah.
bone approximation of the throb coming from the
Flashlight was a
speaker
good idea.
setup of the one called eggheads, entirely, rigidly imbecilic, without pity or fear.
I am cutting it up. Look at me go. Kim, join me. Join me, Kim. So I'm never going to continue from this point. This is the end of the game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Roll the credits. It's all downhill from here. Nothing better than this can happen, so... The crowbar seems like a dangerous choice. I'm gonna snag on my underoos and cause an embarrassment. Anywho...
Free from self-awareness, no deliberation, only, and I mean only, execution.
And flawless execution at that.
Oh my god! No way!
The Speed Freak's would-be leader stands slack-jawed in disbelief at the hardcoreness on display, and he whispers to himself, even though it sounded like he kind of shouted it to the entire church. This is really happening! I gotta go. Yes way.
With his reel-to-reel mixer blasting the anthem of a future that will never come, the young man observes your moves for a second.
He cannot take the beauty.
He throws a screwdriver and a bunch of drill chucks into the corner and explodes into dance. What he lacks in sharpness, he more than makes up for in violent enthusiasm.
Kim, get in here! Oh, I've got it. Like, if I can only do one. It's gotta be Kim. Come on, let loose with me just this once. Who's gonna know?
What's going on here? Delinquents.
Delinquents. The lieutenant looks at you and the Speed Freaks grinding around in the church, a group of unhinged lunatics.
This is clearly a Code 31 emergency.
I said get in here and dance. Code 31, baby.
The lieutenant squeezes the bridge of his nose. The lights reflect off his glasses.
Which is exactly what I would do before I break out into dance.
He's obviously having trouble adjusting to this new reality.
The Code 31 emergency? Really?
Yes, officer in need of assistance on the dance floor. It's not really an emergency, Kim. I lied. No, it is. It is an emergency.
The lieutenant crosses his arms with a bemused look.
Come on. You know you love me.
What's happening?
The lieutenant is forced to yell over the futuristic music blasting from the speakers. I'm undercover! I'm not doing anything. The music made its mind up a long time ago, and I'm just implementing. Help, Kim! I think I'm turning into some kind of hyperstar. I'm sorry, I know this looks crazy, but it feels too good to stop. I wish, the only thing that I wish, this is perfect. In every way. I just wish I had 2 flashlights. What does he need to hear? What will get him to join me? I'm undercover? And you should be too, lest it be blown. You don't want to blow me, do you, Lieutenant Kim? Come on.
Good for you. Rock on, then.
Hey, I called you to dance, and we ain't going anywhere before we tear shit up together. Seems a little more forceful. This is more of like a, hey, come on, sexy invitation time. But I don't want to lose my chance to see him dance. Number 2.
What?
I did say there was an emergency on the dance floor, did I not? The emergency! Not enough, Kim? Authority. 72. Oh, because he respects me? Aww. And because the dancing is so infectious. This check cannot be retried. So we'd have to start all the way over again if this fails. At 72%, I believe it. 1, 2, 3.
Who's the one in charge? You are.
Lieutenant, I am only going to pull rank on you one time, and that time is now.
Are you kidding me?
I assure you I am not kidding you. Now get your groove on, Lieutenant. I love this. It's all a joke to you, isn't it? Chain of command? Joke. The future of dance? Joke. Well, no more. Cut a rug, Lieutenant. That's really, really hard to pass on. Okay.
What? Get a what?
I said cut a goddamn rug, Lieutenant. Boogie woogie.
Sheesh, okay.
He backs up, with his hands raised in the air, observing the crisscross of your feet.
Okay, you psychopath. I see what you're doing there. It's jacked up footwork, plus is that Ubi folk dancing?
You know it is. He adjusts his spectacles, then pops his collar as high as it will go.
Nah, it's not Ubi folk. It's hardcore.
It's hardcore, Kim.
Yeah, whatever.
You talk a big talk, Lieutenant. Now let's see some moves. Hardcore will never die, but you will unless you begin to boogie. Say nothing, but push the footwork extra hard. Really make him work for it with his sense of visual calculus.
That all you got? I did 15 years in the juvenile crime unit. I can't do age inappropriate.
Do it.
Now, check this shit out.
Yes! Oh my god. Everyone, prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Clench everything. Here we go.
The lieutenant begins to heel kick the church floor with such intensity, it's reasonable to fear he'll kick a hole right through it, causing the floor to crack and the pillars to collapse, bringing the church roof down on all of you.
I am so happy right now. I want to live in this moment.
It doesn't look like he'd give a shit either.
Alright, we got Kim in the mix. Everyone on the dance floor right now. Andre? You have a close proximity to me, and frankly, you're killing the buzz. Get in here. Dance, it's the law.
The young man immediately bounces up and down, then assumes the same dance pattern, embellishing it with some sort of waving motion.
Frankly, I don't mean to brag, but I feel like I'm kind of carrying the team here. You guys gotta put some more effort in. Estelle, what are you doing?
The young woman lifts her headphones up slightly and raises her chin, looking at you expectantly.
Asil? Aren't you going to dance?
Thanks, Suna.
No. Recording.
She turns to Suna, then back to you. She briskly shakes her head and puts her headphones back on. She had to briskly shake her head before she put her headphones back on, or we'd have a flinging situation. I understand. It's
The
fine.
lead programmer throws the other young woman a knowing glance before turning her attention back to her own work.
Is there anything more I can do? I want to break the limit.
The dynamic motion of your flailing body is bordering on the extreme. You're going off the charts. You feel as if turning on the hyperdrive would be a point of no return. Feels almost melancholy. Are you sure you have the entire posse along for this?
I seem to. The entire posse available to me. I don't feel as though I have any other options, but
No time
let's check.
to wait.
Turn on the hyperdrive, 92%. Plus 2, because you got Kim dancing. Suna is in, is she? I'm so excited. Here we go.
On the coast of the Martinez Inlet, in a small weather-beaten stave church built 380 years ago by settlers from the Occident, most likely to guard against an anomaly at its center, an officer of the RCM is contorting his body into idiotically rigid shapes as he invents the future of dance music. It's the hardest anyone has ever danced.
It's the hardest anyone has ever chored. What is this strange feeling I keep having? This cold, even now.
I am La Bachelier.
Shivers. You sound different.
I am the city.
What do you mean, you are the city?
I am a fragment of the world spirit, the genius Loki of Revachol. My heart is the wind corridor. The bottom of my air is red. I have 100,000 luminous arms.
What a coincidence. Due to my thumping dance moves, my bottom is also quite red.
Come morning, I carry industrial dust and let it settle on tree leaves. I shake the dust from those leaves and onto your coat.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I just thought I suffered from dandruff.
I've seen you. I've seen you. I've seen you with her. And I've seen you without her. I've seen you on the crescent of the hill.
Well, I am a bit peckish. How are you talking to me?
The modulations of my voice are noted down with thermometers and barometers. You feel me in your nostrils, on the little hairs on the back of your neck. I also reside in your lungs and vestigial organs. Everywhere there is space.
But who am I? Why are you talking to me?
You are an officer of the citizens' militia, Jante and Rebut. When you wear your coat, you wear my soul. You move through my streets freely, in motor carriages and on foot. You have access to the hidden places. You also circulate among those who are hidden. I need you. You can keep me on this earth. Be vigilant. I love you.
Well, I'm very touched.
An officer of the RCM is lying on the floor of a small church with his eyes rolled back and his tongue lolling out. Several others are standing around him. He slowly comes to.
What happened? Did I do it? Did I usher in the future of dance?
Had a good rest there?
I spoke to the city of Revachol. I don't know about good, or say nothing, and keep this as an intimate and tender moment to myself. I am tempted, but I'm not selfish. I spoke to the city of Revachol.
Fuck yeah!
Thanks, Noid. I knew you'd have my back on this.
I bet you did. Those were some advanced moves, man.
That's all great, but we should really get going. We spent enough time doing aerobic exercise for today.
Thank you, Kim, for joining in. You didn't have to, and it means the world to me. Thank you. All right, get up. crowbar didn't fly into my eye.
You might be imagining it, but it feels like Egghead turned the volume down. Such is his respect.
Oh my god. That is such a sacred action for Egghead. I can't believe it.
Man! Now, man! Now...
The would-be leader stutters with excitement. Spellbound by my dance, are you? Dubois got your tongue?
Now imagine if we could do that, right? But with like 1,000 people.
It'd be pretty hardcore.
End of human development. Mission complete.
It'd be right ecstatic.
All right.
You're absolutely beat. Muscles relaxed and feet like noodles underneath.
Just the way that it should be. Like a marathon tantric love session, I limp out of the church.
Goodbye, officer.
Goodbye, Andre. What a freaking privilege that was. And to be able to speak with the very city herself. To earn entrance into that sanctum. I am proud. I am proud of us, Kim. Kiss me. Kiss me here and now.
Yes?
Where's the kiss me here and now option? I'm scrolling. I don't... Feels like there's a bug in the game, developers. Fine. Alright. I don't think it gets better than that. I'm so happy and fulfilled right now. Thank you for turning the music down during my sacred moment. I really appreciate you. Alright, I'll get closer. Oh, man. That makes me wonder, if I can't speak to him again, maybe we should just leave the church and come back, and then we can speak to him again. But if I can't speak to him again, does that mean... Kim, the dancing is Kim! You're trying to outdo me, and you're largely succeeding. Oh my god. This sort of proud chicken dance you've adopted. It's gorgeous. Sorry. It makes me think that I should have, done the other skill check first? And increased the music to its highest potential before doing that? Let's see if I can come back in and still have access to the skill check. If not, I'm worried that I've missed out. Though no such thing could be said of the sequence we just enjoyed. It does not get better than that, I'm sure. There, he's back at the decks.
Good morning! Yeah!
Whew.
Hardcore!
Alright. So our interfacing is quite low. And successfully dancing did not increase my chances. That is a very slight percentage that we will probably not surpass. I don't know if I have any interfacing gear. Beyond the gardening gloves, which I am currently wearing. That's disappointing. Not disappointing to be wearing the gloves, but disappointing that I'm still at an 8, even with them. I could never be disappointed by these gloves. There's a hole in my clothes. It's too bad. I have nothing else that boosts my interfacing. So unless we want to soak a bunch of points into that, it's not looking good. Alright, let's take a quick break. Out of the church. We take our unsigned letters, and thank you again for the suggestion in the chat, back to the Martinez waterfront, to the unkicked post box. Very important.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
It will remain unkicked. Drop the white envelope into the mailbox. Sneaky.
But the documents inside the envelope still lack the required signatures.
I know they do, mail collection box. That's all part of the plan.
It's not going to be that easy. We need to dirty our hands with the signatures. I assume that's the goal here.
I will not dirty my hands. I will not sully my perfect ass with
But
this
the documents inside the
malfeasance.
envelope still lack the...
It's not going to be that easy.
Okay, worth a try. Alright, I'm trying to think. Back in my memory banks, was there anything else in the city proper? Amongst the streets? I'm mentally strolling around, even though I could physically stroll around, and it'd probably be a little easier. Did we speak with Plaisance and the Novelty Dice Maker? I think so. About our findings at the church? I believe we did. One thing I am curious of is, since we talked with Suna about this mysterious voice on the intercom box, is there anything new?
An old call box. East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area.
I forget which one it was, or it's not here anymore. I thought it had a pretty distinct name that I would recognize upon return. I don't think it was Fortress Accident.
Silence.
Let's try it.
They have found...
No one's home. So I'm guessing we pushed that to the furthest point. But I'm glad we got a little extra tidbit of lore about it from Suna. Suna Luchenenkilda. I never get tired of saying that. Okay. So we still have Egghead. What else are we staring down the barrel of? Sleeping dock worker, no. Don't interrupt his rest. Physical instrument ones are going to be very, very hard for me to pass. I guess we do have one more with Renee. I forget what we were trying to get out of him, but we should go check. And we have something on the map wall inside the bookstore. But I kind of feel like we went back to check what that was, and it didn't work. I see another suggestion in the chat to try examining the letter. As though perhaps we can forge signatures, and therefore tie it up in court for all time. The documents must be inside the envelope.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Kim, what do you think of this?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
I'm glad you like the print size. That wasn't necessarily my question, but thank you for your eye for design.
How else are you going to build something? It's always inconvenient to build things, and citizens inevitably have disagreements over such construction projects. But there's no other way.
Even if I, in my limited knowledge of zoning law, am not able to find a loophole here, I'm sure if I mess it up enough that Joyce Messier can hold it in court and transfer ownership to her. She's smart enough to do it. Look at the zoning plan with your own eye for design.
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
I don't know if it started being wonky. Let me reset it just in case. Sometimes his voice is so deep I can't tell. But better safe than sorry. But
It's
better.
going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice. Hard to say.
Popcorn, was it? I'm glad. I'm glad I wasn't crazy. Thank you for the warning.
My money is on cool. Looks like a cubic pyrite.
Darn it. I shouldn't have looked at it. Now I think it's cool. Now I think it's so cool. I've limited my chances. Okay. I guess it sort of cancels itself out, though, because of the ominous shape, etc. So I still have roughly the same percentage, it seems. We did just quick save it, didn't we? Let's try. 72%? I believe.
There doesn't seem to be anything of
I
it.
didn't believe hard enough. Go back. Oh, I've made mistakes. Go back. Whoop. What? I didn't see anything happen. I didn't see any failed skill checks,
You
officer.
take
Honest.
the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction
it
period
does
and
increase
the
because of
zoning
the-
plan in the addendum.
Sorry, white envelope. Because of the 2 +1s. I get at least 1 +1. I'm confused already. Look at the zoning
youth,
plan.
It's going to be. This is either my
Thank
money
you.
is on cool.
Thank you for looking at
Looks
the zoning
like a
plan.
cubic
All right,
pyrite.
72%. Whoop.
There is no loophole.
Hooray!
The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
If I had, in the past, separated myself emotionally from the people of the fishing village by continuing to stay in the whirling and rags, at great financial burden to myself, I would be in a different position, but it's like, this is my home too now. You can't take my home from me. This is selfish. What are the ramifications of this?
Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out.
The noise will be tough on the villagers, but I guess that's just the cost of progress. No, look, Kim. These people are going to have to move away. Can we do something
I
about
should
it?
have seen it.
The lieutenant frowns as he reads over the document again, and even though his face is dour, he is still highly kissable.
Evrard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone.
Cindy the Skull. Help me out here. Who would I get to sign it? Ah, it matters the location that I'm in. Everard's people could be watching you here, out in the middle of town square. Interesting. Put the documents back in the envelope. Quick save it. One step ahead now. Let's go into the basement. Into the furthest corners of the basement where no one could possibly find us. Right about here.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope.
Aww.
A 12 to 40 month construction period.
Everard's got underground mole people on his payroll. They're watching us everywhere. Where would he not be able to see me then? Inside the cargo container right outside his front door. Beyond time and space. I am not sure. Not sure where they want me to go exactly. Inside my own shack in the fishing village? Where would be a good spot? Or is it just always a huge risk? Anywhere in Martinez? So failing that, if I can't forge the signature, who else would I get to sign it for me? That wouldn't run the same risk of Everard seeing. You there, young boy. Young boy, I say.
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man?
Oh my god, where's Renee? What happened to Renee? I'm so sad. Oh my god.
Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where is
The
Renee?
prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But he's really gone.
Like, to the grocery store?
Hell, most likely. He was an absolute Kent.
He'd appreciate you saying that about him. How did he die? I don't want to bring up bad memories. Did you see him die? Or is this possibly like a pantomime of his that he's putting on as a prank to you?
His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but he just had to prove how tough he is.
I'm devastated by this news.
Wait, did he push himself to prove he can pull his weight and doesn't need handouts?
Guess he was about to head home, 'cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, 'cause he's gonna be buried without it.
That means the uniform could still be in the guard booth. Something to keep in mind if you really plan to give yourself to Revachol.
You want me to steal a dead man's clothes? I mean, it's not as though they're off his corpse directly, but it still feels disrespectful. Do you think our conversation about his job pushed him to go out there, aka, is this my fault directly?
No. René was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever push him to do anything. The man was completely immovable.
He has doubts, but right now, he just wants to move on and not think about it.
So both of us think it was probably my fault then. Good. You're too polite to say it, but I offer my sincere... Excuse me, I'm getting choked up. I offer my sincere condolences.
Yes, we are both very sorry for your loss.
Would you like me to open this as a third murder investigation? Because I'd be glad to do that.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone.
Who are you going to mentally spar with now? Whose balls am I going to throw into the sea?
Despite their differences, these men played such a significant part in each other's lives that now that one of them is gone, the other feels just lost.
The emotional high that I received from dancing is lessened somewhat by this, but in the back of my head, that dancing was still pretty sweet.
I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something.
It's too bad that René's gone, because I was hoping to ask him about Maybelle's. Hold out the flower. Little rude to just pass on the responsibility to Gaston, but he could help me. I think we've exhausted our dialogue about René. I guess we should ask, but this feels very inappropriate. Do you know anything about Maybelle's, my friend?
René wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer. And believe me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
Wait, Insulindian lilies?
That's their old name, dating back to the time of kings and crests, and all that other stuff he loved so much.
Why didn't he like them?
There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communals. They called them the bells of revolution.
A sad smile passes his face.
I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinde. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. It doesn't really matter anymore.
But you feel the dried flower in your hand somehow still does matter, although not to this sad old man.
What could this flower possibly mean? I'm sure Kim doesn't want to hear about it anymore and wants us to get back to the murder investigation, but I am fascinated by this dried flower. Bye for now, my love. I mean, bye for now and leave. Well, that saddens me greatly. I guess we'll never pass that skill check now. The place where you were standing, Kim, has ceased to be snowy, and it makes me think that your legs are very hot. Which, just from looking at you, I already suspected, but now we have concrete scientific evidence. Literally, you melted through to the concrete. There didn't seem to be an option to ask Gaston to forge signatures. I'm wondering if perhaps the old man next to Everard, who does like his billing, or whatever it was, would be able to help us? If I'm very, very sweet to him, like I have been this whole time?
He's a
Does not look like there are any other options. So let me run back to the Union Yard, since we're relatively nearby. See if there are any options for... I want to call him Tom, though I don't know if I'm making that up. Tom, is it? Hey, you cutie.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
Just checking. Because you're such a cutie. Alright, back we go. While we're en route, we could steal an old dead man's clothes. I'm not sure how I feel about this morally, but we could do it.
This is the night
It's in a
watchman's
bag
booth.
there.
The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. René left his uniform neatly folded on the table.
Or it's not in a bag there, in which case I don't know what's on the ground. We'll go check that
Take
next.
it. It's just there. Who cares? It's not like anyone's gonna need it.
Have a seat. Rest. That's very sweet. I don't know what sort of bonuses his clothes may give us. And I'm emotionally conflicted. Have a seat and rest.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons.
I thought I was speaking to the clothes, like, rest in peace. The uniform of René, but apparently I've just barged in and put my tuchus upon his seat. Hours after he died. I mean, the seat is still warm from his body, and here I am, tuchus planted. Breathe. Just breathe.
Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The inside of the booth is immaculate.
Search for a little something to help you out. I don't want it to be illicit drugs. I don't want to have illicit drugs on me. I'll be tempted to take them. But if it's like a gun, that'd be that'd be real sweet. A little something.
The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. One small box, however, does hold some cheap painkillers. They are slightly out of date.
Hey Kim, would you mind if I just help myself to some... No. Read the side effects, though, out of curiosity.
Oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to la opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse.
I wonder if we're maybe coming upon the reason for his death, these expired and very cheap painkillers, which caused critical flatulence that led to his untimely demise. I'm gonna go ahead and leave those.
Quick,
Thanks.
think about something else.
I'm a cop. I have cop things to do, murders to solve, people to help. Kim is counting on me. Disco, mirror balls, if you know what I'm saying. Kick-ass moves, the boogie beat. I hope I'm not fucking René over by taking his painkillers. I don't think you are. I don't think so. I don't see what the big deal is. This sounds pretty normal to me. I always have increased sensitivity to la opera. I am scared I will never be held or loved in this world again. I mean, if I want to be emotionally honest with myself, yeah, let's go number 5.
Maybe this was a bad idea.
Let's get up.
You stand
Thank you anyway.
and exit the booth.
Alright. If I can't make a big show of it and get cool points, then I'll
I
take
suppose
it.
René is not going to be needing it anymore. It's a bit too colorful for my taste, though.
Are you sure you don't want to try it on? It's still warm. This is gonna take my shit to the next level. I'm
Fantastic.
done here.
Try not to worry.
Oh, sorry, Kim. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Alright, something was sort of glittering as we approached down here, but it must just be the glass bottles from my binge that we inspected earlier. Seemingly nothing there. I will go back and see if Gaston perhaps wants to hold on to said uniform. But before we do that, I am curious. What does it give me? Now that I've stolen from the dead a Royal Carabiner jacket. I always want to say carabiner, but they pronounce it differently, and I can't remember how. Adds to proud nationalist Revacholian nationhood, but no other skills. The beautifully adorned jacket of the Royal Carabiners. We'll figure it out later. Has 3 stars on its shoulders, and the word Capitan written on the chest. Neatly patched here and there. It's impossible not to feel love for the fatherland when you wear it. Royal pants. These pants are made from synthetic, lightweight fiber and designed to let the carabiner's legs and groin breathe. Red stripes are there to inspire courage, while the golden stripe symbolizes the patriotic flame in the wearer's heart. +1 to reaction speed. Good to know. Nobody comes close to Measurehead. Oh yeah, that's her. I was like, where's that? That's just the upper level of the outside gate. Like, have I never gotten down to a secret section of the Union Yard? I would be kicking myself in my royal pants if that were the case. Hey, how's you?
Oh, hey, mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here.
That's
yes,
right.
Yes, I did. It's like Lady Larice. No trouble at all, mister. No trouble at all. It's like that old saying goes, wisdom withers if not shared. And old Leo is always up for sharing.
I'm glad to hear that. An embrace, perhaps, Leo? Seemingly no new options concerning the forgery of documents. I do think he's the one who writes notes for Everard. But it would probably be unwise to start a scheme with Everard's right-hand man to... What was the word? Screw him over. So I don't know who's supposed to sign these for me. But I'm glad we checked. Let's race back to Gaston, see if there are any uniform options. We do have those skill checks inside the container there for investment opportunities to pitch to the richest man in Martinez. But I don't know if I care about that. I don't know if I care about that capitalist swill. Here we are at my favorite staircase again. I believe in you! Oh, Harry, you've done it. Thank God. Alright. Kinda tempted to check if the Freet worker wants to earn a quick $5 by forging some documents for me. The yellow roses in the window, those aren't the flowers that were left for Classia. Good to know, I guess?
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't...
No, you enjoy your magazine.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says
Search your
bottles clunk
your
into
bottle.
the machine.
Thank you. Sorry, I broke your machine. I tried to insert my butt. It's not important, but I am going to need you to call the maintenance team to get my butt out of the machine. So the only person that springs to mind, for whatever reason, about forging documents is Cindy, because she'd be like, yeah, anarchy, forging documents, but I kind of don't think she has any interest or reason to help me. But while we're relatively close to Cindy, let's go check. Kuno would forge the documents. He'd be like, yeah. Especially if I bought some pants from him. But you know he's just gonna turn around and spend those $2 on speed, and I don't want to be associated with that.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
I have. And I've admired it, and I'm leaving. Seemingly not. Cindy will not help me with said documents. And I don't even know, like, if I am supposed to talk to someone. Kim did mention we could try to have someone else forge them. Joyce? Joyce is Everard's nemesis, and she wanted the property for herself. And frankly, I trust Joyce far, far more to maintain the livelihoods of the fisher folk. So Joyce may be a strong candidate. Let us race to the fishing village real quick. Otherwise, I'm really not sure. We have, like, shopkeepers who may want to earn a dime. Gaston, would you like these royal pants?
Oh,
As a gift.
sorry, officer. Yes? What about René?
I guess not.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Despite their
I just don't know anymore. About then, officer. I just can't do...
Alright. No options there. So, in front of the whirling. Oh, thank you. Very well-placed autosave. Appreciate ya. We go to the fisherman shacks. Yes, I appreciate that greatly about Joyce. At least she's generally honest about what bullshit she's on. Like, yeah, Joyce. We may have differing opinions on some things, but you've always been a straight shooter with me.
You're back.
And a
Good.
loving mother, if I
What
can be so
help
bold.
you with?
Dealing with
Oh.
Everard? Deliver
Sounds
an
like he
envelope.
has you running errands here.
It's clear the village...
No, don't. Giant statue of him. Or better yet, his twin brother. Practically the same thing, but makes him seem less like a
Seemingly
psychopath.
no option.
Yes. I'm
She is more defensive.
full of ghosts and ancient memories. Of course, detective. You can always drop...
Alright. It was a privilege just to hear your voice again, Joyce. Thank you for your time. Egghead. Will Egghead sign them for me? For the children? Like, you can't legally go through with this. It was signed by children. Hey kids, scribble on this for me, would you? Thanks.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Bye. Take care. Or maybe the drunks. Out by the campfire. Child, sign this for me. It is legally binding.
Mister, what were you doing in my fireplace?
Well, there was a phasmid in it, or at least I hallucinated that there was, and I was trying to catch it.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bye!
She's so cute. What a nice little shack to visit. Gentlemen, would you like to sign some documents for me?
Tequila Sunset.
Ooh. Who would have thunk? Could you and your pals here sign this document? I'm wondering what sort of consequences this is going to have, because they're also technically residents of the fishing village, so if Everard is like, good enough, I'm proceeding with construction, I would prefer a little more geographically removed fraud, if possible. But this kind of seems like the option I'm looking for. Could you sign this document? If it goes to court, they have no legal right to the shacks themselves, I'm sure. But I am scared. I'm gonna make a big manual save in case this goes horribly wrong. Or at least make a big show of it.
Tequila Sun... What's it about? I'll let my hand address the situation.
Apathetically, I
Maybe
imagine.
you've heard. I used to be a very successful businessman. I've signed more than a few lease forms or whatever the fuck they were. Anyone's got a pen, the pro's gonna do it.
Is that what you say about your hand when you... Never mind. Yes, I have this green ape pen. Coincidentally enough.
All right.
That's very true. I'm pretty sure Idiot Doom Spiral is not a legally binding name. Score! Loopholed, I need at least 2 signatures on the document.
Hey, Abs!
He shouts to the non-responsive drunk, still dribbling drool from the side of his mouth, and also drooling dribble, one must assume.
Abs! Abs!
He grabs his passed-out friend by the abs and shakes him a
The
bit.
man mumbles incoherently.
Hey! Goddamn Abigail is here. Wake up! Wake up!
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with using his worst fear against him. I don't think he can help. He's completely out of it. Or maybe someone else can help, eh? Point to the third guy. We won't make it his fault. We won't make him feel like a failure. Can this guy help?
I can fucking help. You need a signature. I got you a signature.
Oh, thanks, man. You have gained a white envelope. Before you can reply, he's already furious. I mean, he's furiously scribbling something on the paper. When he hands the document back to you, the signature in uppercase letters reads, "Don't call Abigail." I'm pretty sure this will not be legally binding, and you gentlemen are my saviors. Can I have the pen back, or was that part of the deal? You have done a great service to the village, to the RCM, and to Revachol. Could I have the pen back? It's sort of my favorite.
Fucking cops, man, always hassling the poor folk. You know what? I'm keeping a pen, and that's the end of it.
Oh, okay, Roseberry. I'm sorry I asked. You have done a great service, and you have my thanks. I guess if you have my thanks, I should pick this one.
No problem. Now, where did I put that,
Have you checked your...
Fucking
Never
hard
mind.
work done for the day, man.
Was pretty
The
strenuous.
incapacitated drunk lay there snoring like an ancient rusting tractor.
Thank you for your services, gentlemen. Should we go and mail these? I think I saw a mailbox on the plaza.
Mailbox. What? Sorry, I lost the ability to speak. Mailbox. Plaza. Got it. I tried to combine the two. Mail plaza. Plazbox. God damn it. I can fast travel from here. I'm not sure why I was leaving. How do you think it feels to fast travel in a game? Do you think it makes you sick after a while, or is it just sort of nothing? Alright, quick save it here. The unkicked mailbox.
The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
Extra dialogue. I knew we'd get to use this mailbox for
Yes,
something.
for sending mail.
You got it, Kim. Drop the white envelope into the
You drop
mailbox.
the white envelope in the darkness. It lands with a soft thud on what sounds like a couple of letters. About a week's worth of mail as collected in there. They'll empty this very soon.
Our fraud will be discovered before we know it.
Probably
Check.
did the right thing. You can't trust that slug Everard. You know he's going to play you somehow.
I just
All right,
know he
let's
is.
go back to Everard. If we don't mention anything to him, he won't know before it's too late.
No, don't do it. Guys, suddenly very tempted. But you're a good mail delivery box. Pat, pat. Sorry, I had a pry bar in
box
my hand
seems
when I did
happy.
that, but hope it was still gentle. I love you. Goodbye. Back to Everard, so that I can finally replace this pry bar with my proper service firearm. And then I'm going to be a menace. An absolute menace to the town. Leaving it around, constantly threatening myself. You know, like The good old days. Back we go. My joints are so stiff in this cold. I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to smoke them. What? Oh, Everard, wake your greasy ass up, it's me. I'm having a thought. This is not a fishing rod, is it? It's... Oh my god! Guess we'll never know. What is it? Isn't that in the corner there? Is it a ficus tree that's just grown perfectly in the shape of a fishing rod? Sit here and enjoy the satisfying click of that typewriter. Ching! Alright.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
He leans towards you, waiting for you to complete his sentence. Is a member of the board? I feel like we've heard that before.
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today?
It sure does. You should see my hat. Do you know that there's a mega-rich light-bending guy inside one of the containers outside? Have you met? I don't know if I care to discuss this with Everard, but I also don't really care what happens to the mega-rich, so...
Mega-rich light-bending guy? Oh my god. How did that get in there?
Slime like him, and he must have oozed in through the cracks. Well, he must have been in the container when someone accidentally closed the door. Or I don't know how the fuck he got in there. Why are you asking me? He's so rich, he could get in anywhere. Except for my pants. I'm gonna be really rude. Really rude to mega-rich light-bending guy. Slime like him.
Damn it to hell, Harry! I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega-rich light-bending guys.
I think he wants to take down the proletariat, Everard. Kim, tell him he was there. I don't think Kim wants to be involved in this. You know, some of him may have been a figment of my imagination, because Kim saw nothing. Well, I mean, he saw the guy, but he saw none of the light bending. Because apparently Kim has a mother and father that love him, and like a 401k and shit. I wouldn't know what that's like. I think he wants to take down the proletariat.
Honestly, Harry, we might be moving all kinds of suspicious things through this harbor, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega-rich. I have a reputation to protect.
Yes, for God's sake, you're a rather large and possibly, what's the word I'm looking for? Not very working class socialist. Hey now, the mega-rich are people too, kind of. He was a nice man. Give me... I read that wrong. Everard, give me stock tips. He gave me stock tips. That's what I mean to say. Yes, the transportation of the mega-rich should be more tightly regulated. It didn't seem like he was safe. Or you should be honored by the presence of this magus. He was of half Revacholian blood and amassed his wealth using the mysterious bond of nationhood. For God's sake, you're a socialist,
You're
Everard.
right, Harry. I am a socialist. I'm going to catch the mega-rich guy inside the container and harvest his energy to power the harbor's fog lights.
Is that... Are you gonna kill him? Is this fatal? I mean, I don't really have a dog in the fight, but,
I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry.
That your chair is really uncomfortable.
Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega-rich person somewhere in his container town.
Oh, come on, Everard. You're a socialist, for God's sake. It's done. I mailed the signatures you asked me to mail. I did it, Everard. I turned it off. I forget what that relates to. Fog light the rich. Yes, I like it as a slogan. Nowhere in my memory do I recall what this was in relation to. And if we just said it out loud, then I'm sure we'd know. But I'm too scared. It's done. I mailed the signatures you asked
The
for.
Golden Boy returns once more. Wonderful. Simply wonderful, Harry. Of course. I already knew this.
I know. You have a -10 to my skill set in the town square. Such are the eyes you've placed
My
upon me.
friend, the mailman, confirms the letter is on its way. You've done a great thing today. You've given the children of Martinez a future and proven to be a true man of the left. I can finally trust you now.
Ooh, why do I feel guilty?
You're
It's
in
fine.
my inner circle. You too, Mr. Kitsuragi. We can talk about anything. The strike, the murder, your lost gun. Nothing is off the table.
Oh, Bratan, you play the old man like a 3-string banjo. He has no idea.
God, keep it down, horrificness. He's right there. Shush
Better not
yourself.
to gloat, sire. 'Tis arrogance that gives the play away. Be subtle.
It is arrogance that gives the play away, you know. Can I get my gun now? So, the signatures I got, yeah, let's confront him directly. I know you plan to force them out with the construction
Harry,
noise.
by now you should know I would never do anything tricky like that. However, if the construction noise and limited street access makes some people consider moving, well, let's just say there'll be freshly renovated buildings near the roundabout where those poor people can finally enjoy a significant uptick in quality of life. I'm talking real affordable workers' palaces.
You pinky promise? You pinky promise me now. You said nothing was off the table.
So the village is doomed.
Yes,
You were
kid.
there. You saw the place. A wasteland. There's nothing left. But mark my words, officers. We are going to reset it.
That wasteland is my home, you bastard.
Reset. I have big plans for Martinez. And they do not include humans living in those pig sheds on the coast. That land will be used for municipal buildings and commerce.
What do you
Harry,
mean?
Imagine a youth centre supermarket church complex. Employing hundreds, no, thousands of people. The coast will be lit up with enterprise and life. All those ruins out there turned into low-income housing.
But the washerwoman and her cute little children.
Harry, enough is enough. We're taking this
Grandchildren?
district back. The war was 50 years ago, for God's sake. It's time to move on.
And I'm sure as soon as you come up with a better plan, with more protections for those cuties out there on the coast, then exactly that will happen. But your current deal was shit, and you know it, Everard. A youth supermarket church complex? Do you really expect me to believe that? Low-income housing? Pfft, a fallacy, sir. If even part of this is true, then why not? It's not the way he was saying it. Do you really expect me to believe that?
Yes, I do. I got the centre, I got room for a retail complex, and in 4 years, I'll get the church too. The wheels are already turning, Harry. The wheels of progress. This post-war limbo, I won't stand for it. There are kids practically playing with their own feces out there. It cannot go on.
Oh, come on. At worst, they were playing with each other's feces. It's not as bad as you say. Plus, in 4 years, that church will be throbbing with a mass of thousands as the future of music descends upon the coast. The rest of it will take care of
There is
itself.
true indignation in his voice when he speaks about the state of things, and even a touch of pain.
I didn't think I'd be saying this, but the way he talks about it is fairly convincing, and I'm a little worried about what we've done, but I'm not going to kick those people out of their homes without a better plan
But will
for
there
them.
be giant statues of the Clear brothers towering above it all? Joyce knew he was up to something.
Wait, but will you erect a statue to yourself?
I'm not a symbolist, Harry. I'm a realist. My statue will be Martinez rebuilt. 5-story building complexes, workers on welfare, and landowners in Azon hating me. That will be my statue. And yours. We're doing this together.
You know, Joyce was right when she said you were up to something, and I am confronting you about it now, but maybe I should have gotten my gun first.
Damn
It's
right
fine.
I am, Harry. I'm gonna make the working man as rich as she is one day. That's my job. Just like yours is to keep the peace.
Okay. Can I get my gun
Harry,
now?
I've got to be honest with you. Your gun was found 2 days ago. Withholding this information weighed heavily on me, but it had to be done.
Yeah, it's fine. I expected as much, but where is it specifically
An
now?
old woman has it, and let me tell you, Harry, word on the street is she's a character, so watch out.
This must be the woman who bought the gun from Roy. The one he described as terrifying.
Was that the pigs? I seem to remember finally finding her name and being surprised. Is it the pigs? Is that who I'm looking for? Excuse me while I sip. So the gun is still with the woman who bought it from
Yes,
Roy?
the same one. I see you've done your research. The pawn shop made the gun easy to track. Crazy stuff, Harry. Selling your gun like that? Wild. Anyway.
I know, right? I'm
Union
wacky.
Boy's gonna help you fix it. He winks at you. Don't worry, Harry.
The neighbors of this old woman contacted my men because they trust me and the Debarders Union. Apparently, she was waving it around at the entrance to her building.
Which is where
Waving
exactly?
the gun around doesn't sound good. None of this does.
Yeah, what kind of psychopath would wave their gun around and then sell it to the pawn shop? She was waving it? Who is this woman?
Unfortunately, I don't know anymore. You're gonna have to go in blind, Harry. But she's an old lady. How dangerous can she possibly be? Oh, and she calls herself the Pigs.
Does she? This is definitely new information to me that I didn't get from the pawn
There
shop.
it is again. The pigs. Like Roy said, not good at all.
I, for one, find it refreshing. Finally, someone calls themselves a pig.
A smile flickers in the corner of
It
his
actually
mouth.
sounds extremely bad, but let's not give him the satisfaction.
And you say she was waving
As
it
I
at people?
said, she's a character. I didn't have time for details. It sounds like she's unstable, but don't worry. No one got hurt.
It sounds like a very disturbed and desperate individual.
So, can you set up
I
a meeting?
already have. Tonight, starting 10 o'clock, near the old fish market on the coast. The one on the boardwalk, a little past the fishing village. Be careful, Harry. I would never set you up for anything dangerous, but you did ask for this. Now, back to the fun stuff.
The fun stuff being that satisfying smack of typewriter keys? I'll
She
leave
will
you
be
to
there
it.
From 2200 hours till 0200 hours.
Does that mean I kind of have to meet her without Kim being present? Because that makes me uncomfortable.
More fun stuff. Seems like we already have fun stuff to do.
Maybe I could keep Kim out a little later. I think we've done it before. Did you order the hanged man killed? Silly question. Probably not. That's it for now. I mean, I was thinking of that from the prospect of his boys hanging the man. But did you order him killed before that, with the whole gunshot in the mouth business? Probably best not to mention it. Goodbye for now, everyone.
Harry, great. I think we've truly built a bridge between Martinez and Jamrock today. With the RCM and the Debarders Union.
Sorry. Got a little janky there for a second.
This has been so great. I'm sorry we don't have more fun things to do together, but if you ever feel like bouncing something off me, my door is always open.
Leave real quick. Let you get back to it, and then I'm gonna come right
Mr.
back in
Dubois,
and stop you from
I
getting
now.
it done.
What can Everard Clare do for you
And
today?
I turned it
What?
off? The big man looks at you, confused. The shady brew. You told me to make it even shadier. I didn't. It had alcohol in it, Everard, and now there is
Did
none.
I? Well done then, Harry. I like not knowing about it, and I'm sure you made the right call. I spend the whole day delegating tasks, and it's a great relief to see people taking initiative.
Oh, I'm kind of sad
I
that he's
don't
glad
even
about
want
it.
to know what all of that means. Brew, shady, alcohol, turned off. I'm gonna let the world surprise me.
I wouldn't know what turned off means. Alright, we have a lot of untaken paths in the dialogue tree with him, but frankly, the more time I spend with him, the less I'm curious about them, so goodbye for now. We did get 5 additional XP, though. Hooray, hurrah. Okay, so we have to wait until tonight to get my gun. Provided that the bloodshed in the streets does not kick off this afternoon, we may actually stand half a chance at dealing with it armed, if indeed such a thing is possible. He did not believe me about the super rich man in the container, but I wasn't lying. He's definitely in here. Just beyond the... what's the word? Event horizon? That's him. Silly Everard. Alright, we're zooming out to catch the full beauty of the docks. So, presumably, the boardwalk right next to the failed electrical building, sort of where we found the corpse, is our destination for this evening. Good to know, and we will wait patiently for it. Stairs, you son of... You son of... Alright, we did it. Still so glad we had our flashlight equipped for that dance sequence. I wish I had a glow stick item. I would really put it over the edge. Okay, so we have to kill time until later this evening. I will try to keep Kim out with me for that event, just in case it goes horribly wrong. I'm not sure what to expect. What else can we do to spend the afternoon? I'm assuming we should not speak to Ruby before we have gun in hand, so that will be a tomorrow activity. But it does worry me that we're cutting it very, very close. If we have to wait until tomorrow for that as well. What else could I possibly do? I have so many unclaimed skill points. Because I just keep cheating at the skill checks. You know, like an asshole. Waiting on Ruby. Seemingly we're waiting on determining where the shot came from. We could go back to the reading group. I know there's a skill check there. It would also kill some time to, say, read that massive book I found. Interactable objects. 16 days of coldest April. I was trying to think if this was like one of the books that the communists mentioned during the reading group meeting, but I don't think it was. So we could read a book and force Kim to watch me read a book. Speaking of Kim, what are you doing down there? What are you doing down there inside my butt? Did you find what you're looking for, Lieutenant? I thought I was weird for sniffing him. This has gone too far. I forget what this is all about. The leading intellectual organ of Martinez communism offers a radical Mazovian perspective on a range of contemporary issues. The cover features a stylized portrait of the late King Frizzle, with a pair of white antlers growing out of his head. This may definitely have been one of the books that we needed to read for the group, and may increase my chances of passing that skill check.
The face of King Frizzle smiles at you. For some reason, the smile now strikes you as more forced than it did before.
Read the editor's note, which apparently we already did. I want to catch up on international developments.
This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd.
Oh, go back to Samara. Go back to the bear wrestling.
Whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that.
All right, let's see what this bear wrestling is all about.
It seems to be part of a new public fitness initiative in the People's Republic of Samara, SRV, devised and promoted by none other than President Kanajinsky himself. According to this extremely credulous account, Uncle Sport, as he's affectionately known to his people, has recently decreed bear wrestling the national sport of the SRV.
I hope they ask the bears first, otherwise this seems very rude. Tell me more about this Uncle Sport.
Based on the description in this article, he appears to be an extremely competent and democratically elected president.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
Sport Kanajinsky is well into his third decade as president of the SRV. Outside Samara, he's known for three things: brutal repression of internal dissent, monumental corruption, and a near pathological obsession with physical fitness.
Sound familiar to anyone?
Don't forget the moustache.
Oh, I would never forget the moustache.
Like all Samaran men above the age of 40, President Kanajinsky wears a truly spectacular walrus moustache.
You give that back to the walrus. Great. Now let's get to the bear wrestling,
It's
shall
quite
we?
straightforward. A standard match features one man, or in some cases, woman, against one bear. 2 competitors, 1 ring, 5 rounds, or until incapacitation.
It's one thing to wrestle a bear. It's another thing to wrestle a bear for 5 rounds or until incapacitation.
According to the SRV's Ministry of Information, the program has been a tremendous success. Public support stands at 87%, and youth obesity and alcoholism rates are down 12% and 7% respectively.
For some reason, I feel like having to regularly wrestle a bear and the wounds inflicted thereupon would only increase alcoholism, but I'm glad to know it's effective.
This is the SRV we're talking about. If you think those are the real numbers, there's probably a guy who wants to sell you a bridge in La Chette.
I guess it is pretty hard to fight a bear if you're out of shape. I guess it's hard to fight a bear if you're drunk. Again, I don't know if... I think it would be much better to fight a bear while you're drunk, if anything. I'm not sure I trust these numbers.
What are you, a statistician? Did the moral intern send you on a fact-finding mission? This is the SRV party line, comrade.
Oh God, I'm sorry I criticized it. Kim, do you think there's any chance that our case will take us to the SRV? Maybe in the sequel. Always good to catch up on foreign affairs. I don't think Kim is going to appreciate this question. So
You flip
we'll
back
on.
to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Sorry, my friend. What is Kunst und Kultur?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. Why they decided to title this one section in Volda is beyond you. Obviously because it's cool to drop random phrases in foreign languages.
You're damn right it
evokes
is.
a sense of recognition and fellowship among those privileged enough to understand.
Elitist
As you leaf
wink.
through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS.
Cindy Skull? I
The main
assume?
feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tourney, a critical Mazovian perspective.
That also sounds roughly familiar from my conversation with the communists. But first, read the profile of CS.
This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A. made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
It sounds like our girl. Just a moment, what is this tip-top
The
tourney?
actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing.
Ooh, Kim, get
If
over
you
here.
don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships and obscene death toll.
What do these communists have to say about tip-top?
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip-Top Tourney.
Wait, what's wrong with
Where
tip-top?
to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships, and then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes. So, all of it, basically.
What's wrong with a good motor crash? I've enjoyed them. Into the ice before. Hang on, who wrote this stuff?
Oddly enough, this article has 2 bylines. Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka. Just a moment. Those names seem awfully familiar.
Don't they just? What's so bad about sponsorships? Foolish question. What's wrong with a good motor crash? They just keep it interesting. And I like the deaths. Weird thing to say,
And
Harrier.
that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Wow, you're right. I really am just in it for the violence. Don't want our dear Dubois to internalize such statements. I like it for the racing. Seems disingenuous, because, let's be honest. Oh, you're right.
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip-Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Kim, did you know that Tip-Top Tourney is actually an orgiastic ritual of capitalistic destruction? I had no idea. Kim, you wouldn't believe how badly written some of these articles are. Or Kim, this article says that no one really watches Tip-Top Tourney for the races.
Oh, come on. Can this article read your mind?
It seems to think so.
A certain kind of young man reads 1 or 2 books and suddenly thinks he understands the secret structures of reality. If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
When it comes to motor carriages, I do trust Kim more than
You
most.
flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
All right, let's see what they mean by local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
I can't believe they would evict someone simply for not having paid their rent.
Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork.
Gaston, I'm feet away from you right now and reading your words, you local celebrity, you. I feel honored. Damn communists, you bite your tongue. If it weren't for the wild pines, all these moochers would be out of a job. Charging rent just to live somewhere is outrageous. Wouldn't it be better for everyone if labor and capital could reach some reasonable accommodation? You centrist bastard. Why should I care? This doesn't have anything to do with me. Charging rent just to live somewhere is pretty outrageous. It's not as if any of us asked to live.
The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution, so long as it's only redistributed upward. Good thing your rent-paying days are behind you.
I know, right? Thanks, Fishing Village. Hold a special place in my heart and wallet.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
All right, put the magazine away. Perhaps that will assist in our skill check back in the Communist Reading Club. Kim has clearly been inside many motor carriages. He is an expert. 16 days of coldest April.
You stare at the now familiar black and white rainbow. The book feels heavy in your hands.
Start
With
reading.
cold, detached prose, the author describes a scene from one of the Yugograd riots in the 20s. Youths overturned motor carriages and set trash cans ablaze, while heavily armored guardsmen dash in and disperse them in a flurry of baton blows.
My thighs feel bruised at merely the thought of it.
The Yugograd riots took place from 27 to 29. Fueled by ethnic unrest and the state's repressive tactics, these events are often seen as marking the end of a brief period of liberalization known as the Yugograd Spring. Like all such periods, it is frequently memorialized in art and literature. As ethnic tensions run wild, a pair of young lovers meet each other on the street. Somehow, in the middle of all the chaos, they manage to lock arms and look into each other's eyes.
And what happens next?
It would physically hurt you to keep reading. Are you sure?
It will physically hurt me? I trust that you mean that. My health is high, and I'm hoping to have a good solid sleep before that changes, but oof. Read 10 more pages.
They go through a brief and somewhat awkward love affair, and in the end, they betray each other and succumb to the absurdity of Gradian life. The man becomes a lens grinder, completely abandoning his former existence. He toils through the daily drudgery at the Lenka Polyfabricate. Happiness and fulfillment have eluded him his whole life. And, in the end, he has nothing to do but dedicate himself to the craft.
And the woman?
She spends the next several decades standing at a conveyor in a Sosnovo fish processing plant. The smell of fish guts slowly seeps into her hair and skin, as every single one of her dreams dies, one by one.
My morale feels damaged.
The memory of their short time spent together tortures the former lovers ceaselessly until the end of their days. Years pass in solitude, their bodies growing ever more decrepit.
God, why can't I put this book away?
As life leaves their remains between the soil sheets, their final thoughts are filled with regret.
Put the book away. Let's never speak of this again. Alrighty. I read that very wrong. As I moused over it, I'm not going to tell you what I thought I saw, but I read it very wrong and am ashamed. I'm going to look at this bullet one more time.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp.
And I'm glad I did. 83% chance to determine what type of weapon shot this. I feel like we already knew all of that stuff the first time, and yet I did not go for it for some reason. I do want to quick save it since we put all that effort into reading. And it is now 12 at least, so we wasted about an hour and a half on damaging my morale. Hooray! Quick save. Back into the inventory.
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a rifle, revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46mm from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique, or a retrofitted antique.
Kim, find me a bush. I need to make. I mean, what's the make?
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago.
If Kim hadn't done such a good job finding the bush, my BM would have also dominated the battlefields. I'd like to apologize.
Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you. The dusty old thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. If it were, the bullet would probably fit the chamber.
So is anyone still making these rifles? Is anyone still making?
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
And who uses Belmargrave rifles these days?
Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons cache, only in working order.
Well, that narrows it right down.
What are you thinking? Bullet?
What do I do with you, Bullet? Well, what I'm thinking is that I know where this came from. Dangle it. Dangle your bag.
Okay. And?
Well, the shot probably came from a Belmargrave rifle.
An antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez, or anywhere in Ravachol, really.
It's probably a
I
good
have to
thing.
hand it to the monarchs. It's quite admirable that they took the advice of criminologists last century and banned the use of breech loaders in peacetime.
I'm trying to put together a saucy comment about loading your breeches, but it's not coming together in my mind.
Some new RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
I think we should have even more powerful guns. It does make you consider every shot. I like that.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier.
Oof. Just imagine what that would be like. What a distant fantasy it would be. Highly unrealistic.
But back to the investigation.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, you've pulled me out of my spiral. So it seems we're looking for an antiques enthusiast. Could the victim have been mixed up with some foreign guerrilla fighters? Do foreign guerrilla fighters include the category of Wild Pines mercenaries from Semonine? Have any well-armed jamrock bangers started crossing over into Martinez? The only well-armed jamrock banger I know is up at the church. Yes, something mysterious is afoot with this antique bullet type. This one seems the most logically plausible. But I like the vagueness of number 4. Like, oh yes, something mysterious is afoot. Don't have to commit to any specific causes. But it feels like we're probably looking for a mercenary. If the rest of our information so far is correct. Which it could very much not be. I'll be vague.
Mysterious? Okay. Either way, we'll know when we find the gun.
I'm looking forward to it. Put the bullet back in your pants. Load it, as 'twere, into your breeches. Alright, good to know. Interact with my May bells.
6 crumbling petals rest on your palm.
Never mind. Nothing new there. Just making sure. Thank you for gently nestling your head betwixt my thighs for that entire, like, 2.5 hours, Kim. That really made me feel special. There was something over here lodged in my mind. I think it was the map wall. There's still a skill check on the map wall, according to my journal, but when we came here to check last time, there was no such skill check, and I'm just curious if I messed it up in some way.
Several maps. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map,
of the
this large
Insulinda.
map, this ozone, disintegrating in the northeast, radiating outwards from you. The suit you camp, lost little 850. The ocean break connections that you have little, perhaps they are gods. Gods of distance and outer dust.
It's a shame to skip all that gorgeousness. That task list is bugged? Sure. So it may be that there is no skill check here, whatsoever.
The North Coast to the east, Huron. It's so... No. This is some...
I'm sorry, officer. The map of... They're
Or
quite
keep.
valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90
You
cents.
seem to underestimate my resources. I have $40, you see.
Yes. Are you interested or not?
Yes. I just said yeah, I am. Alright, fine. So we already got the only one we can buy. And I will absolutely trust you. The task list seems to include checks that you didn't do, but are no longer available. Which is probably many of the checks. Such as speaking with Renee, even though he is long dead. I think there was originally an option to steal the map that had a skill check, but it goes away if you buy the map. Ah, thank you. I appreciate the explanation. Okay, so we still have the afternoon and most of the evening to while away. I know we can just like sit on a bench and spend time, but while we're trying to kill it, let me race back to the communist reading group and see if we've learned anything about the tip-top tournée that would impress them. Did you all know that sponsorships are capitalist propaganda? And then I'm in. I hope I get a laminated card. Stop popping. Silly goose. Hey, are you CS?
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Apparently she does not want to talk about it. Wasn't there also a board game in the bookshop? You could play a board game with Kim to kill some time. That sounds like a lovely experience. Yes, please. Where is the Communist Reading Club? I guess they only meet at like 8 o'clock or something, was it? I forget exactly what time, but they are not here now. While we're in such a cozy and warm area, though, I'll be right back with you. Leave you with these delicate hues. I do like my hues delicate. Laurie, Grant, and such. I love it. huge, Jackman. Alright, so we can't impress the communists with our newfound knowledge until the later hours. We could absolutely play a board game, or we could sit on a bench. I probably have perhaps 20 minutes until I need to race off. And I feel like if we can get up to the point where I get my firearm during this session, we may be able to fit the entire, finale sequence. I'm not sure if it's a finale sequence as much as it's like an Act 3, and will take many, many hours to finish once we get to the point where we meet Ruby. I'm not exactly sure what the timeline looks like at that point. But I feel like maybe sitting on a bench to just skip forward in time, but there's so many little crevices and secrets and dialogue delights awaiting us in this game that I would hate to miss. So, I am conflicted. There is really no rush to finish. We can continue to take our sweet time and enjoy the company of Lieutenant Kim, a fine board game, and perhaps some cocos. I also have enough money now that I'm sure we could buy other books to spend more time in the reading if you're really interested in, say, muscular barbarians.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
I do think that if there's the opportunity to play what is effectively D&D with Lieutenant Kim, and have him be perhaps a conflicted warlock in service to some strange patron, and I did not take it, if I did not take him up on that chance, I would never forgive myself. But it could also be that I spend the majority of my money to buy Wirral, and Kim refuses to play with me. No, I don't want to be a warlock. Okay, fine, I'll just take my poverty and go, and you just enjoy your 401k. But I am very tempted. $25, ouch. I know that there was also the sneakers and the speakers and the other speakers, and there's probably things, experiences and such that are beyond the paywall that would be fun to get to. So I am not sure. I've got to buy Wirral.
If you say so, but you better stay away from those immoral occult rituals.
You would say that, wouldn't you, Plaisance? You seem to have bought into the satanic panic of the 80s, even though it was a hoax. And a quick Google search might lead you to enlightenment, Plaisance. I'm not sure why I'm being such an asshole right now, but here we are. So how do I play a game? Let's interact. I play it right here in your bookshop. Is that cool? Boop. A high pasternal, fantastique populaire board game, illustrated with bucolic vistas and featuring odd-looking humanoid creatures, most of them very well endowed. It's the 3rd edition mega setting supplements module and can't be played without the main game. It's a supplements module? Give me the main game! I've been tricked. My $25 were for naught. Interact
Large
anyway.
letters on the front form a title. Wirral. The colorful box is illustrated with bucolic vistas. The cover art also features odd-looking humanoids. Some short, some taller, some with pointy ears, others with ephemeral wings.
And all of them very well endowed. Examine the box.
Text underneath the title in smaller typeface reads, 3rd edition, Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel adds, a sword and sorcery adventure board game with new maps and miniatures.
Miniatures! Oh my god, get your paints. Kim, get your paints and your tiny brushes. Shake the box? I don't want to damage the miniatures. But I am curious.
Mysterious things rattle inside. What could they be? Dice? Plastic miniatures? A fantastical alternate world full of magic and wonder?
It's definitely that last one.
None
Yes.
of that witless man from Heimdall, fascist dross, hidden behind faux realistic allegory. Ural is no cliche-ridden apologia for colonial violence. Ural is pure imagination.
That should 100% be the marketing slogan.
Yes, the Wirral setting is known for its complicated system of political alignments. But if you're not into that, you can just hack your way through dungeons in search of loot. That's what most people do.
Ouch. I've been called out. So look at the back.
A blurb on the back reads, "Tired of the tedium and toil of modern life? Escape to Wirral. Leave behind e-solas and nations with their petty squabbles. Discard electricity, magnets, and boring technological widgets.
Discard indoor plumbing.
Succumb to a world of high pasternal fantastique. Unleash your imagination and create an adventure of endless possibilities. Discover the terrible secret threatening Wirral. Can your band of adventurers save the world?"
I'm not sure I can handle all this responsibility. I mean, the scheduling alone is... No, I'm ready to take on the challenge,
Exactly. That's the spirit. All you have to do is read an intricate rulebook, study an assortment of maps, unfold the illustrated game board, and start rolling dice.
And all of that should take no longer than 6 to 8 hours. It's gonna be
In
fine.
no time, you could be romping through grasslands with low-level characters, hunted by Iskala riders, or battling unspeakable monsters in endless dungeons fraught with danger and despair, conjuring up forceful magics to aid your quest.
Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! I know other moves, but fuck them.
Don't forget heated arguments escalate into physical confrontation with your friends.
Thank you, drama. That's a very important part of it. Skip the rest and go right to the clacky math rocks. Do you seek him?
And most importantly, never forget to rage quit if the dice don't go your way.
Oh, I would never forget. Open the box. Let the magic
You
commence.
pry open the box. Inside you find a folded up map, a small booklet, a 24-sided die, and a little plastic figurine.
Nat 24. Look at the figurine. My
You
baby.
see a man in ragged clothes, wearing a lopsided hat and wielding some sort of a firearm.
Huh, interesting. A communard.
A what? That doesn't sound very Wirral-like.
It is not. The communards are not a part of the game setting. I guess someone misplaced it during the packaging process.
Oh man. Maybe someone should make a role-playing game set during the Revolution. I wonder what that could possibly be like. Does this mean we
I
can't
have a
play?
feeling the figurines are more there to set the scene than anything else.
They're just pretty to look at. Look at the die. Also take the
You
figurine.
pick the figurine up by the base to meet your gaze. The little plastic man stares back at you, his face contorted into a disturbing shout. Then you pocket it.
Ow! His firearm had a bayonet on it. And now I'm bleeding in my pantaloons. Look at the map.
Reprint of a crude hand-drawn map. The top left corner reads, Lands of Wirral. The map features both small villages and mid-sized towns with odd names, in addition to meadows, forests, hills, lakes and seas, also with odd names.
Baldurin's what?
It doesn't seem to correspond with anything you've seen thus far. It's not a very helpful map.
Aw, but I love maps. Look at the booklet. Look at it and die.
A quick guide to the magical races of Wirral. Create your own hero choosing from any of these completely unique and fantastical backgrounds. The options are in order of importance: the Welkin, the Tweog, the humans, the fairy folk, and the pygmies.
The Dweorg is very fun to say. Read about the Welkin.
The Welkin, tall, lithe, and graceful, with long flowing hair and pointy ears. They're known for being powerful magic users, but can also hold their own in a brawn-driven fight.
My name is Thranduil, and I'm all about gems, baby. Shiny, shiny gems. I'll kill for 'em.
The Welkin come with a variety of exciting sub-races: High Welkin, Forest Welkin, Lake Welkin, and Snow Welkin. But if you're not feeling experimental, a basic Welkin will always do.
The outcast Welkin. A sort of hot topic Welkin, if you will. Read about the Dweorg.
A grand race of industrious mountain people. They're short, stout, and muscular, and enjoy digging for gold and other precious minerals. They're also well versed in the art of combat, where they prefer to use axes and hammers.
Rock and
The
stone.
Tweog also come in a few different sub-races: Hill Tweog, Shield Tweog, and Dark Tweog.
Read about the humans. Pitiful humans.
They're just humans. What else is there to tell? They're average in all stats, and jacks of all trades.
Sounds pretty good, actually. Read about the fairy folk.
A very small race of flying people, known for being mischievous, full of trickery. They often lure people into their magical traps. There are no sub-races for the fairies.
It sounds positively magical.
The least popular of the Wirral races, the Pygmies, are short, rotund, and dim-witted. Pygmies live in small villages made of shoddy wooden dwellings. They spend most of their days tilling the earth and smoking their pipes. There are no sub-races for the Pygmies.
That sounds pretty sweet to me. I'd love to spend my days tilling the earth and smoking their pipes. Wait, not there. I don't want to smoke my own. Never mind. Look at the dye.
It's made from some sort of wood and has been decorated with peculiar plant motifs. You don't know much about dice, but this one looks pretty damn fancy.
Wonder if I can show it to the novelty dice maker and be like, scale of 1 to 10? Scale of 1 to 24, I guess?
You place the die into your pocket. It's always good to have luck on your side.
It sure is. Close the box.
A colorful box with the title, Wirral, in bold letters. It's a board game.
Put it away. Alright, we now have a standard Wirral die. Can be used to get results for several dice. It's made of East Semines snakewood, fancy, and embellished with plant motifs. Plant motives. It reminds you of plain and hill welkins. Note, look at the map tab in the journal to see which white checks have opened. That's interesting. So having a dice on me unlocks all of the white checks, or just specific ones? New ones? One wonders. A figurine of a revolutionary. What a nice little figurine. A turn-of-the-century leftist revolutionary in ragged clothes. On his head lies a lopsided hat, seemingly an Ushanka. In his hand he carries a little musket. Doesn't look that little to me, but sure. So I guess if I want to play a game, I would need to buy Suzerainty. But let me quickly run across the street and check in with the novelty dice maker. Just on the off chance. Or I guess not even across the street. Just into the back room is what I mean to say. Whoop. I forgot I wasn't in the whirling. In my mind, I had teleported. Luckily, we still have our flashlight out. I can't pass by without giving it a shot. No, I'm just going to break my back and spine.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master.
17%. I know we have the white t-shirt, right? It's the one thing I actually remember, since we did this so recently. Change into my t-shirt, or whatever this is.
The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its
Tank
master.
top tournay. Ow! Oh, I can't get to the menu until after he hurts himself every time. 1 second. Trying it again. There. Now I'm ready. Such a low chance of this.
The
It
barbell
really
waits
hardly
patiently
matters.
on the floor, like a dog for its master.
Yay!
Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage. This is a children's game.
Oh, no need to brag. Just revel in the feeling. Yes! That healed me
wave
slightly.
of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to. Hey, but you're still in a ghost house. What if someone heard this? What if they know you're here?
Then they too will be impressed by my physical
Good
prowess.
technique.
The lieutenant nods with approval, and it makes you feel warm inside. Alright, now get me out of this hideous tank top, would you? White satin? Seems a little elitist of me to wear white satin at a time like this. Let's go +1 to logic. That'll be good. Okay. Whoop. Hooray. To the dice maker. Do 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 do. Hey, Dice Maker, I am not, I repeat, not here to take off my pants.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
I was actually looking to ask you about a die I purchased elsewhere instead of supporting local business. I would like to order a die from you.
Tell me what you have in mind.
I want a die for the Wirral setting, sweet and basic. I want a die for the Wirral untethered setting. Do you have any cursed dice? A dark dice, if you will? Tell me about your most extraordinary die. I am looking for something to help with my work. But by work, I just mean plain Wirral. Do you have any cursed dice?
What do you mean by cursed?
It's a fun way of spelling it. I like it. Perished like this world, as cursed as my life. Let's be a sad sack about it.
Alright, how about I surprise you? Come back in 8 hours with 7 real, and I'll give you your cursed die.
8 hours? Why, that's 1 hour before I need to meet the pigs. It would probably work out perfectly, actually. But then I would have basically no real left. But what do I really need real for at this point in time? I guess it's a deal. Give me my cursed
Great.
die.
See you in 8 hours then. Was there anything else?
No. That's it, thanks. Love you. Alright, do not leave her hanging. That would be so sad. She's just standing there with her full luggage like Sweetums at the used car lot, devastating my childhood, savaging my mental health for several decades after. tears staining my little child's tunic. Sorry, I need to compose myself after thinking about that. I'm fine. I'll be fine. Alright, so we need to make sure we have 7 die by the time we get there, which means we cannot buy Suzerainty, which is a shame and a half. Save it? Have I made a horrible mistake? No, save it. Alright. It is, sadly, time for me to race off. So we did not quite push ourselves to the brink of the next day, retrieving our firearm and launching into the Ruby investigation proper, but my god, we've solved a lot of skill checks. And I'm proud. Thank you for all the hints. I had given up on thinking I could get my firearm back. And I very much appreciate being able to forge the documents and press on regardless. I will see you soonish. We have quick saved it here in the town square where we can fast travel away. I think that's about all we can do. I love you guys. I hope to see you again soon, hopefully tomorrow for another session. And though it may not yet be the finale, we will be tremendously close. The disco dancing. Oh, what a wonderful sequence that was. I wish, in a thematic sense, that had been what we ended on, because it would have made me so happy in the here and now. But I'll have to be satisfied with my memories of happiness from the past, because that was a special moment. I will see you guys soonish. I hope you have a lovely evening, filled with warm treats and socks and such for your little toes, and also the rest of your toes. Bye for a bit.